Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Los Banos Talk. My name is Justin Collins. Tonight's episode, we're going to talk about the trash service. That's right, the trash service, or in this case, maybe the lack thereof. We're going to talk about why the trash has been late, and we're also going to talk about what can be done about it, what the city's going to do about it, and what you can do about it. Yes, that's right. There is actually something that you can do about it, and I just had a conversation with the city manager regarding it, and I'm going to give you all those details in just a moment, right after a quick commercial break. I just want to talk to you real quick about becoming a supporter for Los Banos Talk. You get exclusive behind the scenes content and opinion pieces that are available to supporters only. Things like the Los Banos Talk Effect, or videos such as part of my The Real Reason series, in where I explain candidly and with my opinion as to the real reasons for an issue and say some of the things that I normally can't say in my regular news coverage, like the real reason why the trash is so late, or the real reason why the former mayor wouldn't come on my show, or the real reason for the bypass, with more to come. Plus, you get all the regular videos that I do first and without ads, like this one. I don't even ask you to like, follow, subscribe at the end. It's a much better viewing experience where you get the news fast, quickly, and just down to it without any of the annoying hassle. If you don't use Facebook, another way that you can become a supporter is by going to www.losbanostalk.com. And once you go to losbanostalk.com, simply click the Become a Supporter tab at the top of the screen and you'll be brought here. All you do is subscribe. It's the exact same price as if you did it through Facebook. You get all the same content that you would if you were to become a supporter via Facebook, and you can see all the videos right here. The real reason for the bypass, the real reason the former mayor wouldn't come on my show, the real reason the trash is late, the real reason the city manager was fired, and of course the Los Banos Talk Effect. And we're back. Thanks for watching. So I spoke with the new interim city manager, Gary Breezy, regarding the trash contract earlier today. And we talked a little bit about what's being done about it, what's the root cause, et cetera, et cetera. And so I did some investigation today. Now, there was a rumor that that some of the workers have been going on strike, and that's why we're unable to get the trash. The rumor that I was told was that individuals had all called in sick, and that's one of the reasons that we're not able to get the service that we're supposed to. I called Republic Services today twice, actually. The Fresno office told me they didn't really know anything about the absentees, but they did know that a lot of people from Los Banos have quit and that they seem to be well below 50% of staffing levels. I went to the actual office building itself to see if I could ask any kind of questions, and I was greeted with a sign on the door that said the office was closed to the public and to call a number. That number takes you to the national number, and they're not accepting any calls locally. So then I waited outside the door, and at some point the door opened up when an employee came out, and I was able to get someone to at least speak with me for a moment. I asked specifically if there was a strike, what the level of staffing was like. I even asked just what's her name. She wouldn't tell me anything. No comment on everything. I asked about the strike. She said, can't comment on that. Asked about staffing level. No comment. I eventually got to a point where I just said, is there anything, literally anything at all, you want to tell me or the people of Los Banos about why their trash is late? To which she said no and left. So my next step was that I went to the city manager, and I spoke with the city manager regarding this issue, and he gave me some useful information. So right now, as it stands, the city manager is very frustrated by this situation. And if you recall, he basically just took over the reins after the city eliminated Alex Terrazas, our last city manager. And he expressed very clear to me that he just wants the trash picked up. People are paying for trash service and they deserve to have their trash picked up, and that this is absolutely unacceptable that they're paying for a service they're not getting. and that the city has a contract with this company, and then they're not just living up to their end of the contract. And so he got with legal counsel as to what we can realistically do as a city to rectify this problem. And so right now they're in the process of consulting with legal counsel to discuss legal action to hold them accountable for what would be called a breach of contract. So at this point, essentially what they're doing is they have to notify them of the breach of contract, and that's the thing that they're doing right now. Now, he told me that he couldn't tell me exactly what because it's not finalized yet, but if Republic isn't able to kind of get its act together, so to speak, and isn't able to deliver and pick up the trash on time like it's supposed to, that next week the city would take action and has a few options at its disposal and would get the trash picked up. I don't know what those options are, and I won't know until next week because it's not been finalized and because it hasn't gotten there. They weren't comfortable with telling me what those were yet, only because they're not finalized. But once we get closer to that point, they'll let me know what those options were and are, especially once it's happening. And essentially down the line, what would happen is the city would end up suing, I guess, Republic Services for the breach of contract, and the city might be awarded money back. But here's the thing, they want you to call in and report your trash not being picked up and every problem that you are dealing with. And the reason why is because, say, trash is being picked up late, right? Well, you call in and report it, and that's an incident of breached contract. So basically, all this kind of acts like wood to build up onto the fire. And down the line, when the city is in the position and is going to sue and is from the lawyers, the more people who've called, the more documented incidents that there are of this contract being breached, the more teeth they essentially have. In other words, we all know that the trash has been late. We all know that it's been really bad. But when you get to court, all that matters is what's on paper and what you can prove. And unless anyone calls in, complains specifically, and it's documented, it's as if it didn't happen. So that's why the city is encouraging you to call in and report it. So if you're having trouble or experiencing delays in your regularly scheduled pickup, you need to call the number 209-827-7000 and select extension number 0. Once again, that is 827-7000 and select extension number 0. A live staff member will document your complaint and address it promptly, but while it may not seem important, it actually is. So it's very important that you call in and complain about your service not being delivered to you because, one, it'll be dealt with faster, but also it's a documented incident of breach of contract, and it gives our city a lot more ammunition down the line to have a fighting chance at really proving substantial breach in contract and a real shot at actually getting some of our money back. So in this way, calling into city council and complaining about your trash service, if it's a legitimate complaint, is your way of actually helping out and doing your part. Slightly related to the situation, but on a side note that I wanted to put out there was that I spoke with the city manager, who, as many of you know, is also the city police chief. And I wanted to inform you of the way that currently the government is essentially structured. And that is that currently he is only really acting and filling the role of city manager 100%. During this time, Commander Jason Hedden is actually the acting police chief of our city, and he's focusing on the police side. So Gary Breezy is not doing two jobs. Currently, he is essentially only really the city manager and just the city manager. And the police chief, for the moment, acting police chief is Commander Jason Hedden. In regards to the salary, there were some people who thought that maybe he was getting paid for both salaries. I did an article earlier, and I know that he receives a slight pay increase, and I asked him about it, and he gave me the numbers. And essentially, it's a 5% pay increase from moving from police chief over to city manager. So it's 5%, but not getting paid two salaries, and he's not doing two jobs. Just wanted to make that clear. If you haven't already, please like, follow, subscribe to Los Banos Talk. We have Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and of course, LosBanosTalk.com. You can become a supporter of Los Banos Talk for just $4.99 a month and gain access to exclusive behind-the-scenes content and all the videos first and ad-free. Plus, you'll be helping keep independent journalism active and alive here in Los Banos, and I greatly appreciate it. Once again, my name is Justin Collins, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.